welcome to the 3inMidfield podcast, the podcast where three friends who had their dreams of being professional footballers dashed away as children when they all discovered food have their say on the Premier League. The ever-present coach, Kojo -1. How you doing, sir?
That -1 annoys me. But it's true, I can't even lie. Yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm not too shabby. We are joined by a star-studded cast, and we thank you for joining us. Daniel, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Look, if you had this yesterday, I don't think I would have come on, but I've had a chance to sleep on this weekend's result, and yeah, I'm doing well.
Yannicka, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. She's so chill. It's like she expects this, you know. That's crazy. Imagine that, eh? Double D, how you doing, sir?
Oh God, guys, I don't know why I've agreed to this, man. Hopefully, this is going to be some form of therapy for me. But like Pappy, I've slept on it, and I actually feel worse than I did yesterday. I'm not going to lie, but such is life. Such is life. We are professionals here, so we'll get it done.
The show must go on. Must go on.
We'll get it done. We'll get it done, man.
So let's get to the matches. Obviously, we shall start with Manchester City 4, Liverpool 1. A really, really unexpected victory. I think Yannicka expressed it best when she tweeted. What would you tweet yesterday? We finally won at Anfield, which is just she's so gash. She doesn't even want to speak. She just wants to smile. That's a joke.
She was so gash she misspelled her tweet.
Oh no! You know, and then I hate stuff like that. I would have deleted it, but I thought, nah.
Let's start with you then. Obviously, I feel like like I said before, sweet vindication, because a lot of people ruling Manchester City out the title race very early on, even out of the top 4 race as well. I was one of the people that thought that they would struggle to get top 4. You were always there. You always backed Pep Guardiola, your boy. So how does it feel to finally get the victory at Anfield?
You know what? I was not expecting it. I thought we'd draw. To be honest, I was very surprised that we won at Anfield. Obviously, it's nice because it's been 84 years. Not 84 years. I'm chatting rubbish. The first time we've scored 4 goals there in 84 years. But the last time we won was 2003 with Anelka. So it's a long time ago. Like, I remember it briefly, but it was a long time ago. So, yeah, we needed to win there. I thought this was our best chance of winning there, just simply because Liverpool's squad are not as strong as they have been. They did play quite a strong squad, though, like the strongest that they could play at the moment. So it wasn't too bad. But, yeah, I expected a draw, to be honest. And you know what I will say, because I'm not here to, like, slate other people's teams. And what I will say is that the score didn't reflect the game. Liverpool weren't that bad. But at parts, they were dominating. At parts, City were dominating. So it's not quite a 4-1. Like, we didn't go there and play them off the park. We didn't do that. We went there. I think City did well in terms of we didn't try and push for a goal and then concede on a counter. We played a little bit defensively in the beginning, which is what we needed to do. And then, you know, when an opportunity came our way, we did take it, apart from the penalty. But apart from that, you know, but City and penalties, that's another story. So
why do City like missing penalties against Liverpool? Mahrez, De Bruyne.
Oh no, it's not Liverpool. It's everyone. We've missed 3 pens this season. Like, we miss pens against anyone, trust me. Like, we don't have a penalty taker. I was saying Gundogan needs to be on pens, and then even he missed. So I just don't even know who to suggest. Apart from Edison, I don't think we have another option. So I don't know what's going to happen next time we get a pen. But for me, just give a goal kick. You know, it's just a waste of our time. So, yeah, I think City played well. I wouldn't say we were bad or anything like that, but I don't think we've had better performances this season where we haven't won 4-1. So I think Alisson, obviously, was to blame for 2 of the goals. And I think maybe if that doesn't happen, it maybe is 1-1. Who knows? We might have nicked the winner at the end. They might have nicked the winner at the end. I'm not so sure, but yeah, it was good from City. Like as much as Alisson did make mistakes, City were in the right place at the right time. I think Gabriel, like as much as people slate him, say he's rubbish, he came on and the first thing he did was put pressure on Alisson, which led to the mistakes. So as much as people, like I always say, that like, yes, he might not always score goals, but that's not what Pep kind of likes him for. You know, we've got a whole team of players that can score goals. So it's kind of like we need him to do something else. And like when he came on and put the pressure on Alisson, that's when Alisson started making mistakes. He wasn't making mistakes before that. So I think that was key to the game, actually. But obviously people don't like him, so they don't want to give him any credit. But like for them mistakes on Alisson, I would credit him because, you know, he put the pressure on, put Alisson under a little bit of pressure, and then he gave it away. And then once he gave it away the first time, he was then under pressure the next time, and then he gave it away again. So, but yeah, I think it was a solid performance from City. We didn't go there all guns blazing, trying to beat them. And I think if we did that, they would have beat us. So I think it was good. It was a good game from City.
Let's go to those Alisson mistakes there. I mean, world-class goalkeeper, let's not get twisted, probably the best goalkeeper in the world. But with that being said, those mistakes were both just horrendous. He's so out of character. But then again, this was the guy that made the mistake. Who's the game against? Where he said, "I'm not going to change what I do." It was like a few years ago.
Oh yeah, Leicester away. Yeah.
Jordan Pickford came out and said, "I don't do that nonsense. I don't make mistakes." That's hilarious.
And then Pickford's been doing nonsense ever since.
Exactly. Before, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. Let's talk about Alisson. Why were those mistakes? Why did they happen?
The thing is, the annoying thing about those mistakes is that it happened 3 times. People say it happened twice. It happened 3 times. It happened once. Then he didn't learn from it. Yeah, exactly. Take that comment away. It happened once. Then he did it. And then he did it again. And then he did it again. I'm just thinking, like, you don't have to always try and play out from the back. Like, if you see it's not working, get rid. Like, I don't know if you remember in the first half, Ederson did a poor clearance, came to Mane, and then the next time Ederson got the ball, he kicked it long. He was thinking, I ain't gonna mess around with it. And there's no shame in that. Like, people might say it's old-fashioned, but look, I don't care if it's old-fashioned. If it doesn't lead to a goal, just get rid. So, just one of many mistakes, many defensive errors that happened in that second half. Well, in that game, actually, and it was just annoying to see.
What are you saying?
Yeah, because you can't mute your mic. You got to say something.
What is it? I've known Double D for a while now. I've just never known him to be this deflated ever, like genuinely. So go on, bro. Anyway, you tell us your analysis of it.
I had to mute my mic so you couldn't hear me crying. You know what I'm saying? No, where to start, man? I thought I'm going to give Pep his ratings because sometimes I think Pep Guardiola, since he's left Barcelona especially, has come into a game and he can overthink things. Right. But he played the first half yesterday like when they came and got a goalless draw a couple of seasons ago when Mahrez missed a penalty at the end. Then in the second half, for some reason, Liverpool came out and I don't know what happened. You'd think they'll be up on it. They started really flat in the second half. City got onto us. Not great positioning. People, some have been saying Trent, some have been saying Fabinho, etc. City get the first goal. Then after that, I thought Liverpool came back into it. Got the equaliser. Look, it's one of those ones, there's contact. But if it gets given against you, you're going to think. But at the same time, Salah's got goal side with Diaz in it. He's touched him. It was minimal contact, but it was enough for them to give it, right? 1-1. So I'm thinking, yeah, come on it. And then as Yannick has pointed out, they applied pressure to Alisson, and he's made not one, but he's made 2 errors. Sometimes, I know you practice playing out from the back, just hoof up the pitch. Because if they do that, City are not scoring either of those goals, you get what I'm saying? And I think the game would have actually probably ended in the draw if it wasn't for those errors. But at the same time, you have to, especially if you're going to win the league, anytime a team makes a mistake, you need to be as clinical as you can, because you can only beat what's in front of you. And I must say, it was just Man City expertly put their chances away. Everyone was in coordination with what they were doing. Pass, chip into the box, etc. Everyone knew what they were doing. And at the end of the day, that's why they've come out. It was clinical. It wasn't a 4-1 game, nowhere near it, but they were clinical. They got the job done. Big up Phil Foden. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of his. He's got critics for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. I'm a big fan of his.
I used to be. I'm not a big fan anymore after what he did to us yesterday.
Right. So if you hear of anything happening to Phil Foden, me and Pappy are prime sub. Just putting it out now. You get me? But no.
Let's talk about the Foden performance, because obviously it was one of the games. It was the game where he showed the Premier League, or maybe the world, what type of player he is going to be in the future. Why was he so brilliant? What was the plan? Because he played false 9, wasn't it? Didn't he?
Yeah, it's movement, man.
Yeah, you know what? Like Foden, like City fans have kind of been bigging him up for the longest time, and like he wasn't playing too much, so everyone was saying, "Oh, he doesn't play." But I think you have to big up Pep, because he has managed him perfectly. Because he could have overplayed him. A lot of people were saying he should start every game, and it's kind of like, no, you can't at that age. You can't get burnt out. You have to play the games that are suited. And Pep brings him in and puts him in, and he's brilliant every time. Like this season, I've not seen him play badly at all. Like every time he comes in, he's good. He scores or he assists. Like he's just on fire. And like it's amazing that he's 20, because he doesn't look younger than anyone else on the pitch. Like he really doesn't. And you know, I'm so happy like for him, because he's a City fan as well. You know, he was a ball boy when we were like winning the league. Like it's crazy that he's sort of now playing in our first team, and he's just looked so good. And Pep made a comment when he came saying Foden's the best player I've ever seen, and I thought he was joking, like, you know, when he says things, Pep. But I don't know if he was being honest. Obviously, he did work with Messi, so he's unlikely to be the best player he's ever seen, but like his ability is unreal. And I was reading something about him the other day, and it was actually saying that from when he was a child, like when he was in the under-8s at Man City, he was playing with the older kids because he was too good. And when he was playing with the older kids, he was the best kid on the pitch. So like he was way ahead of his time. And like they were saying, the City coaches that train with him were basically saying that. Sorry, man, he cracked me up. They were. He says that I changed every show to the Man City show. We're talking about so you know, they were saying that they knew he was going to be a star from when he was little. And, you know, people say, could he do it without City? He does it for England. So I know he's not been in the men's team, but when he has, I think he's got 2 goals in 3 games or something daft like that. So, yeah, he is a brilliant player. And obviously, what makes it even better is he turns up in the big games. Like, he's scoring goals against Chelsea, Tottenham. You know, these are the teams that he scores against. Liverpool. So it's not even like you can say he's stat pads against, you know, lower teams and all that. Like he's just unreal. I can't praise him enough, really. But yeah, I'll shut up.
I mean, it's I think, wasn't there a recent interview where he said he doesn't see himself playing for any team bar City?
Yeah.
So you got him essentially for the rest of his career, which is always a plus. Yeah. Coach, it's been a sensible talk about Manchester City. It's been a sensible talk about Liverpool. Now that we want some crud from the Manchester United fans. So let's get the crud, please. Bring it.
Now, you know what? I'll try and come correct, but bring a little bit of crud inside it as well. I think I always say that every team, a slapping is due once a season or twice a season. It happens. It happens to every team. We got our slapping this season already. And Liverpool got their slapping at Villa, and this is another one that's come by in terms of like top 2 rivals. I don't think anyone. We know that City can score goals against Liverpool, but we didn't think they'll go to Anfield and hit them for 4, regardless of the defensive frailties at the back. Bearing in mind they benched Jesus, so they didn't have a striker. Foden was not in his natural position on the pitch. He was like a sort of like another ish kind of striker. So sometimes I think what happens is when you, and it's not these two. Well, Daniel, I've given Daniel a bit of crud, but it's not these two per se. But Daniel knows where I'm going with this. When it's football fans in general, isn't it? And every club has his fans that go over the top and talk a lot of rubbish. But you have to be careful when you're rating your team so highly, because when you set your level so high as fans, other fans are going to look to your team to do certain things, even if they believe that they can't do so. And when City went to Liverpool and hit them for 4, everyone was on Liverpool's case. They're the worst champions in Premier League history and all that kind of stuff. That kind of banter runs on them. Obviously, on Uzma's channel, I came with big crud. I said I was going to do crud or common sense, and I chose the side of crud, didn't it? So I went and just chose right on them. But if I'm being honest,
God, I wasn't on that channel. I was like,
but no, it happens, man. It happens. But they just have to be careful. Listen, they've hit insane heights in the last 2 or 3 years. They've won a Champions League, they've won a Premier League, so they've done their thing. But there comes a time where you have to now look and say, okay, certain players are not reaching their level. What's the rebuild? What's this? What's that? Liverpool have a lot to think about from now to the end of the season. The season, are they going to be champions? I don't think so. I think it's City's now, for now anyway. If they continue this form, then no one's touching them. But if Liverpool are going to do something, they need to think properly over the next couple of months. Jurgen Klopp needs to calm himself the hell down, because he's arguing with every journalist out here. And quite frankly, it looks like he's starting to not lose the plot, but he's starting to lose the thing that made him kind of special in terms of going in and galvanizing the Liverpool side. He needs to calm, he needs to relax, he needs to get his team playing football again the way they can. He needs to figure out what to do with Thiago, because Thiago is a wonderful player, but right now something's not clicking there in terms of the whole team picture of him there. Maybe they need one centre back to come in, because Fabinho in that midfield is deadly missed, as is Henderson. So there's just a lot to think about. As for City, I said it last week. How pissed off I am that they got Ruben Dias at the back, and it annoys me that they've got Foden. Foden is supreme, man. The boy is supreme. That's the best way for me to describe him. He's supreme. And the scary thing is, that's not even his lowest level. Or his height. You know, he's still got more levels to climb. It's scary to think of his potential.
Do you know what's even crazier? This guy's at like 10 or number 8, and he's batting it up on the wing. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I'm thinking, what's going on?
Exactly. So you can't. So when we hear about players saying I'm playing out of position and blah blah, I don't want to hear it, because this is a young guy who is ripping up the league, no problem, and showing and Double D, certain men with agendas on Foden are being.
That's what I was just about to say. Say it louder. A certain person can't hear you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
he cannot hear you.
His Foden agenda just needs to die now. It's done. It's done.
It was pathetic from the start. All agendas that Arsenal fans build up here is to make them get. Apart from Cahill is one of the most realistic, probably in the top 5 most realistic Arsenal fans I've ever met. they always make agendas to keep themselves in the picture, because since they had their outstanding season,
invincible
season, they've just won the FA Cup. Now, don't get twisted, it's brilliant the amount of times that they've won it, but there's been no other trophy. What do they do in Europe? So it's to keep them in the picture, bruv. You get what I'm saying? Dumb agendas that they build up. You get what I'm saying? To keep them in there. Man was talking about when he does something at the new camp or something like that. What's he talking?
Yeah. He said when he performs, when he performs against Barcelona, when he performs against Barcelona, then he can talk. And in my head, I'm like, well, I don't have to even say it. Jan just literally this big club he scored against. He's done his thing, and he's never supposed to be a main goal scorer. Can you keep it?
As Papi just touched on, as Yannick has touched on, Phil Foden is Manchester City's top scorer this season. He is De Bruyne is obviously out, but obviously he was the main guy. Now he's out. These men are beating up these teams with no striker because Jesus has been on the bench, and it's him. The movement, he's everywhere, interlinking the play. You get what I'm saying? I mean, at 20 years old, don't piss me off, bruv.
The guy's quality.
They've got me out here. They've got me out here backing him in arguments like I support Man City. I don't give a damn about that football club. You know what I'm saying?
One thing I actually want to go an inquest into, and I need Daniel and Double D to do this for me, is what the hell's happened to the home form? Because you've lost 3 in a row at home.
But this is the thing, though. Now there's no fans there. It's like they're just having a kickabout in the park. You know
but
what I'm saying?
I take that. I take that. But you were winning games before anyway.
That's the whole point. Because remember, last season it almost went when we played Burnley. Goodmanson hit the bar like in the last minute, so the home record would have been gone. Obviously, Dope was in the back end, so yeah, there were no fans there either. So
the problem with that Burnley game, apart from when Burnley scored the goal, Liverpool should have put Burnley away 6-7-0 before they even got the goal.
Yeah, because
exactly. We absolutely peppered them.
Because when we play Burnley, puppy, Nick Pope turns into flipping yellow black.
Exactly, but the last.
Did you see him last week against Man City?
Yeah,
Man's punching the ball to their players, bro. I'm like, what's going on?
I'm so happy you said that because you said Nick Pope normally turns into Jan Oblak, but when we played them last time, Nick Pope could have been listening to Boris Johnson's 8 o'clock evening news. He had nothing to do for the whole game. Same with
because that Origi hit the bar.
Same with Brian. Look. Origi definitely needs to get out. I completely agree with that. But I think there needs to be like a real talk about like what's going on with Liverpool going forward. Because we can talk about injuries, we can talk about centre backs all we want. But against Brighton, against Burnley and against City in our last 3 home games, even the times we dominated, it's not as if we actually peppered the keeper. Against City yesterday, we had all the possession, but apart from Mane's header and Firmino's shot, which I don't really call a chance, we didn't really create anything yesterday. The penalty that we got yesterday came from Ruben Diaz making a mistake, which was uncharacteristic. And apart from that, we don't create anything anymore. For me, I think that's the real issue with Liverpool. I don't even care about the goals we concede. We have Hendo and Fabinho at the back. That's always going to happen. But when we have Salah and Mane, I'm not going to mention Chip Skylark because he ain't a striker. But when we have those two in the attack, we should be creating chances. We really should be creating chances, and it's annoying. We don't create enough chances. And Michael said something about Thiago. Like, if you watch Thiago in the next game, you'll see Klopp is trying to turn him into Henderson. And for me, that's the annoying thing. He's always on the right trying to do those early crosses. That's not his game. We have to play to our players' strength. And if we don't do that, look, Michael was saying he doesn't think Liverpool might win the league. Look, the league is not our issue anymore. We have to make sure we're playing Champions League football because Chelsea are 1 point behind us. If Spurs win the game in hand, they're 1 point behind us.
Don't worry about them, man. Don't worry about them, man.
We shouldn't worry about them, man. But our form has made me worried about them, man. That's why I'm annoyed. We have the players to finish in the top 3, but we're not performing at that level. And we should be concerned about that.
Yeah, that's the thing. What you're saying, Coach? What you're saying in regards, Puppy, to I agree with you. Liverpool have to look at what's underneath them because we play Leicester next. Leicester are already ahead of us. So God forbid we lose that game on the weekend. And it's an early kickoff as well. And I've just got this funny, bar beating Palace 7-0, I've just got this funny thing with early kickoffs, right? West Ham as well, not going away. Aston Villa are not going away. This is the season here, because of the games that are in such close proximity, limited training sessions with the season starting later. You need individual talent at times to bring you through. Early on in the season, Liverpool were not playing outstanding, but Jota was scoring goals. Jota's injured now. So that movement on the front line, them man up front, the main front 3, they're tired. If you watch Monday Night Football earlier, Jamie Carragher was showing something about the amount of minutes that them man have played since the Champions League final. They're tired. Then, obviously, you go at the back. Alisson's missed half the games this season. Even yesterday, he possibly might not have been rushed back, but Kelleher picked up a knock. What's his fate? Klopp has no confidence in Adrian, and rightly so. Yeah, that would have probably been 8 yesterday if Adrian was in goal, right?
100.
In terms of the midfield, the people that intercept and get the energy moving from box to box, Henderson and Fabinho are playing at centre half. So we'll get out from the back to the midfielders, but the ball does not go quick enough from the midfielders to the forwards. Salah and Mane are coming back to get the ball. So as you're saying, you've got to create chances. Robertson and Trent are getting forward sometimes. There's nobody in the box. So until we get defenders back in, because you have to start with the injuries. I don't like to always bring up injuries, but you have to. 3 centre-halves are out for the remainder of the whole season. me in over 30 years of watching football, I've never seen that before or heard that before in my life. Maybe 2 at the most, because I know at a stage United where I've used Fletcher and Carrick as centre halves when Ferguson was in charge. It was only for a brief period, but they had to do it in the Premier League and in Europe. All out. Kabak or Davis were never going to get thrown in against Man City. Davis should have played against Brighton, though, right? So therefore, if you continue to make the midfielders there, you're going to have to take what you could get. So unless Liverpool are super clinical, it's going to continue to be like this. The problem is now, we've got Leicester next, then we've got Leipzig, then we've got Everton. So these men are not going to be starting games regularly until back end of February, maybe even early March. So it's just going to be the same thing. So unless we're clinical, it could be more points dropped. I don't like to be the pessimist, but I'm just being realistic. It starts with the injuries. Jota was getting goals, him out, the 3 centre-halves out. Where the hell is Naby Keita? Like, come on. I mean, they're keeping him in the same freezer that Real Madrid keep Mariano Diaz in, bro.
You know what the problem is with Naby Keita? He told us that he's 26. He's not. He was 26. He was maybe 26 in 96, but he's not 26 now. That's the issue. So forget Naby Keita, man. He needs to go. But yeah.
Before we move on, I don't know if you guys spoke about the Gundogan yet?
No.
Okay. Jan, what's he doing differently this season to other seasons? Because this guy's become a goal machine out of nowhere. Yeah, like a German lamp. So what's his improvement?
I love Gundogan, so I'm happy to talk about him. Do you know what? Like, he's always been a big game player for us. Like, it's interesting because last season, he was our best player in Europe, and I'm sure, I might be wrong, but I'm sure he didn't play against Lyon, and then we went out. Like, he's been really good for us in Europe, and like in the big games, to be honest. But because he wasn't really scoring too much, and he was a little bit more defensive, I don't think people really realised what he was doing, because he was a little bit of a scapegoat for our team. Like, a lot of our fans would say, oh, Gundogan, he's a bit slow. And he is a little bit slow. But this season, he's just been unreal, on fire. You know, and I love, the thing that I do love about City is, like, people always talk about, oh, we spent this much money and all that, which is true. But the reason why we spent so much money is so when a De Bruyne goes out injured, it's not a problem. Like, when De Bruyne goes out injured, Bernardo Silva steps up, Gundogan steps up, Phil Foden steps up. Everyone wants to prove we can do this without him. You know, we've had, how many seasons have we had Kompany out, our captain, for most of the season? And even though defensively we weren't great, you always have players in the squad that will step up and be like, right, okay, like Fernandinho was playing centre-back. And, you know, obviously that's not his position, but he was doing okay. So, you know, we haven't got a left back. So we've kind of got Zinchenko as a midfielder playing left back. Before that, we had Delph playing left back. So it's kind of like, that's what I like about Man City, where we can kind of survive without these players. And I think Gundogan this season in particular has just stepped up. He's scoring goals, he's assisting goals, he's in the right place at the right time, he's fighting for balls. Like, I just can't big him up enough. Obviously, he got player of the month in January, which is nice, because I think John Stones was in for it as well, which John Stones is another one who's been unreal. And he's actually got a personal goal difference this month of +1, because he's conceded 2 and scored 3. So it's crazy. It's crazy, like, for a defender. So, yeah. But I think this month definitely, well, last month, Gundogan definitely deserved it. But yeah, it's this squad, like, I thought City would win the league. Like, I said this at the start of the season when we were doing previews. I was like, I'd expect City, if they sign a centre-back, to win the league. But I just think they've actually exceeded my expectations. You know, like, obviously we didn't start great, but we didn't have Diaz at the start of the season. And then the minute Diaz came in, strengthened our defence. Obviously, we have lost the game since, but it's just been 10 times better than I would have expected. You know, and it's like De Bruyne has been like our 5th best player this season. Like, he's really, like, not high up in the list of, if I was going to say player of the season, he wouldn't get into the top 3. So, and that's crazy because of how good he is. So, yeah, Gundogan's just on fire at the moment.
Gundogan, indeed. I feel like we need to move on, unless you guys want to say one last thing about Liverpool, which I feel like you said you've had everything on you. Have you released everything? Has it been cathartic?
I could do this all day. You don't want to come back to me, mate. It's therapy.
Same. I've been doing this ever since it was 1-4. Literally, people have just been messaging me. People I haven't talked to for years. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? By the way, how's Liverpool? Piss off.
Oh,
it always happens, isn't it? It always happens.
You know, I do want to say one thing. And like this is talking to me because I was one of those Liverpool fans. This season and yesterday's result brought us all the way back down to earth. A lot of fans were putting Liverpool amongst the great teams, and we should have never done that because, yes, I can understand why we were gassed. I saw a stat, best defense or most clean sheets in the season. The Liverpool 18-19 team were there. Then we went to go and win the league. What people don't realize is just because we won the league doesn't mean we should kick on from there. You saw what happened with City after 3 years. They had a slight drop-off last year. This is us after 3-4 years. So this drop-off, if we had realistic expectations at the start of the season, should have been expected. Not this bad, but a drop-off. But since we were so gassed, that's why we're deflated. And for future preferences, I'm never going to say we're going to win the treble. I'm never going to say we're going to keep I'm just going to keep quiet. And if it happens, isn't it?
but at the same time, Dan, again, no one was expecting these injuries. I don't like to draw back to it, but because believe me, look, last season Man City lost 9 games, and bar Diaz, who did they buy? So if everybody's fit next season, we'll be challenging for the title again. You get what I'm saying? Look at this prick saying COVID.
Yo, double D, loudly.
I'm not going to miss my word. I told Coach, if anyone tests me today,
I know.
I told you. I'm in a bad mood. I'm doing this to help you out. You get what I'm saying, bro? Your team is 10th and they've lost 10 games. This argument ain't for you, bro. It's not for you, bro. Anyway, go to the next one.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
I feel like that's a perfect segue to talk about Arsenal losing 1-0 to Aston Villa.
Yep, let's go.
Let's go to that one. Ollie Watkins with a goal in the first 2 minutes of the game pretty much ends Arsenal's dreams of getting any kind of result there. And then there are multiple talking points about the game. Let's go to, obviously, first, the major mistake from Cedric. Coach, why is he playing or attempting to play a 1-2 in front of his own box?
Man was doing rondos.
Bro.
You know what? This is, again, I like to say, this is heritage, man. Remember the days of Koscielny playing cross balls and then assisting the other team to go score goals? This is not new. These are things that sometimes I want to get onto the coaching and say, yeah, what's happening with the defense? Well, you cannot coach a player not having the common sense to not play a ball back that poorly as well towards Gabriel and expect Gabriel to get that first. Bertrand killed Gabriel after that with ease. Always say that a player shouldn't be left in the box by himself like Watkins, but when you concede the ball in such a dangerous area from your own defense, you're only going to be in trouble. And after that, you just couldn't recover. It's that simple. We can talk about we'll get to the VAR decisions soon, but all in all, Arsenal again are just not convincing. It's as simple as it gets. Arsenal are not convincing going forward. It's still not convincing at the back. We thought, even me, I thought that the signing of Partey would add a little something to the midfield, but still it's not working. Yes, he's been injured quite a bit as well, but
he's dead though.
Yeah, but exactly. He hasn't been good enough. It's simple as that. It hasn't worked out right now. And the problem, obviously, is at the end of the day, it's the same thing we had with Wenger. It's the same thing we had with Emery. Same thing we had with a month with Freddie Ljungberg. Is Arsenal's team still needs so much renovation. It's as simple as it gets. No matter who the manager is, that team has so many players that are just not of the quality or the level needed to take that next step up. That's simple as it is. That's why Arsenal are, and I think the board have got used to the fact that your team is not that good. So sitting in 10th, you're not hearing about is Arteta under any stress or he's under pressure or anything like that, because I think they finally realised where this team is. Your best player or best players, so for example, Aubameyang, even though he hasn't been great, but overall, one of your top players, he's aging. He's number one. Lacazette has just about found form, but he's about to hit 30. And you can go through the rest of the team. Apart from Saka and recently Smith Rowe, no one has lifted trees. So
that's bad though. You should. I don't think a club as big as Arsenal should be putting that much pressure on 2 young players.
No, but exactly. No, but they shouldn't. But that's the situation they're in right now. And I don't know if it's I don't think it's on purpose either, because I feel like as much as bad as the signing was, I feel like he brought in Willian to add a little bit of experience to the team, and that's fumbled dramatically. And I feel like he's trying to mix and match the youth with the experience, but the experience just isn't good enough when they're there anyway. So these young players who have, I don't like talking about the heart and the for the shirt and all that, but they literally want to fight for the shirt. They're Arsenal fans and they want to play. And Saka's letting his quality show. Smith Rowe has been, Huddersfield has come back. He's playing at a high level, but he's playing to a good level right now. So, those two, I won't get onto them. And Tierney, they're missing Tierney, which I will say this, it is damning that they lose Tierney and then they immediately start to lose again. Tierney should not be a force going forward. Well, he is a force going forward, but he shouldn't be one of the main sources going forward, considering the attacking force they have. And him missing that left back should not be a reason the rest of the back four crumble either. So it's very poor. I don't know where Arsenal go from here next, if I'm being honest, because I don't know. Actually, I know where they need to improve, but that's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. Leno's he's a good keeper, but he's not a keeper that's going to take you to any sort of heights. The defense bar Tierney's not good enough. The midfield bar Saka and Smith Rowe is not good enough. Martinelli, he's all right, to be fair to him. He's still got a bit to improve on. And the strike force, like I said, Aubameyang, I feel sorry for him because before the stuff with his mother and that, because he was playing on the left, because Arsenal don't create chances too tough, he wasn't getting in positions to even get on the end of chances. So his ability to have shots within games was limited. And before that was happening, you had either Willian in the false 9 or Eddie Nketiah in front. So one way or another, Arteta's done it to himself. Honestly, Arteta's done it to himself. I know he's a young guy, it's his first job, but he's done it to himself. It's not good enough. And Jan said it earlier in the season. The football that Arsenal are playing are not the football that you saw with Pep in it. And even if it's not the same quality players, at least the ideas are not even showing in that. So what was he doing with Pep that he hasn't learned or he hasn't brought to Arsenal? I don't know. I know Kel's not convinced by Arteta anyway. But
no, not at all. But let's go to others. So before we go to the obvious refereeing decisions, which will feature heavily across this episode, because boy, they were just terrible. Terrible. Apart from the Odegaard chance, which I felt like was people were being quite harsh on him, because I felt like he came to him quite quickly.
The one that hit his head.
Yeah. No, the one that he came to.
The one he shot over.
I think that for me that was brilliant defending from Trezeguet. Trezeguet came, ran towards him and threw his body there. Odegaard had to rush his chance. He didn't have any time to actually think and say, I'm going to place this. So for me personally, I thought Trezeguet did well there. If people are blaming Odegaard, then they're just being harsh.
What's the problem with Arsenal in terms of creating chances? Because it seems like Coach said, unless it's Tierney, I don't even see anybody creating chances. But barring Saka and Emil Smith Rowe recently, but then again, once Coach said they're 18, so if you're expecting them to create chances, then you're going to be in a whole bunch of trouble. So what's the problem with Arsenal? Why aren't they creating as many chances as they used to?
It's too slow. The build-up's too slow. Saying Villa, I can't really defend them too tough, though, yeah, one or two decisions didn't go their way. But I thought they were very unlucky against Wolves. I thought that first half was arguably the best first half of football they've played since Arsene Wenger was axed. But then obviously the sending off that shouldn't have been a sending off, should have just been a booking. And then obviously Leno was playing volleyball in the second half. You get me? It took a worldie to beat them, and then even when Arsenal had 9 men, they almost equalised right at the end of that game. Yeah. But Villa on Saturday, again, if as Cahill and Coach have pointed out, if it's not running through Saka, you're thinking who's going to make a chance here? Because the thing is that people get onto Granit Xhaka, but Xhaka is not passing it sideways and backwards as much as he was. He's finding people on the edge of the box, etc., and out wide. But then it's after that you don't know exactly what's going to happen. And apart from Cahill said Odegaard chance. Emi Martinez made a really good save from Xhaka's free kick because that was going top. That was going top bins. I'm trying to think of other chances that they had, but Auburn's coming off the bench and he just seems lifeless. I hope nothing dramatic has gone on outside of football with him. I know his mum was ill, but she's meant to have improved because he just doesn't look in it. And
I think Arteta said that he's come back and he was emotionally drained. So
which would make sense.
That's probably the reason,
Which will make sense because he just looked like he hasn't been there. Lacazette had a little run scoring goals, but you were scoring against West Brom and them teams there. Got a goal against Southampton, but they were already winning in that. These are the games they need him to stand up in because Aston Villa are a completely different team to last season. They're better defensively. I wouldn't say they're outstanding because Martinez still has a plethora of saves to make every single game, but he makes them, and that's why he should still be Arsenal's #1 keeper. But though they've lost a lot of matches, I still think that next season that they could do something. But football obviously is about winning trophies is what you play for. But I still think that if they did not win the FA Cup, I think they'd be in a better position in the league this season. I think that made Arteta think, okay, but he would have looked to have pulled more strings if they'd lost in that final because they put in 2 near perfect performances, especially against Man City in the semi. But then they went behind against Chelsea in the final, and they were brilliant. So I think he thought, okay, let me just add a couple pieces, and then so you got Partey in, you got Ceballos on loan again. And then obviously now Odegaard, though, that's come in the winter window. But I just think he would have tried to do more and tried to push at the board more to get more done. They can't sack him. They need to trust the process and let him just do his thing. It's nowhere near as entertaining as the Arsenal teams we've seen in the past. But
Just the process.
But we'll see. But we'll see what they can do, man. Cahill looks stressed.
You said trust the process.
Trust the process. I can't agree with that, man. The process. What is the process? If there was a process, then fine, but there isn't one. I feel like that's just a buzzword, a catchphrase that Arteta's and his team have built up just to get Arsenal fans believing, and I just don't believe. And that's the simple fact of the matter. Let's go to the penalty that wasn't. You do half expect when somebody gets chokeslammed that maybe, just maybe, the ref will go to the monitor. He didn't even go to the monitor.
He didn't even go to the monitor. But the thing is, this is the thing. In terms of that, they should have had a pen, right? But even when we played Newcastle the other day, I don't know if you lot saw it. We had a shot coming. Keeper saved it. Darlow saved it. Mane went to shoot, and Carl Darlow bare humped his legs.
No, listen. People might get on to me for saying this, but Mane should have dived there. He should have dived there. He should have just... Because if he doesn't dive, it's not a penalty. But I think with that Martinez thing, goalkeepers get too much protection. I think the fact that Lacazette falls on Martinez, they think, Lacazette is impeding Martinez. But then if you look at it, he fouls Martinez. And for me, that was even the worst decision of the game. I don't know how Cons are still on the pitch.
Because it's one of those ones, because it's so far away from the goal, you think, but then when you look at other decisions like that, they've sent the man off, so you're sitting there, and then if that happens, it's a totally different game.
It's not. You just need to
score. I mean,
you need to read into the context of the situation. Is the player capable of getting to the box before the defender catches up to him? The answer is yes. Saka is rapid. So in terms of that being a goal scoring opportunity, that's 100% a goal scoring opportunity. So he needed to go off, but. Referees, man. I don't know when we haven't spoken about how bad referees are, but they're just terrible.
If it didn't go to VAR to have a look, it's more understandable. But they had a look and they still thought, okay, not like look at the pace that Saka has, because again, Pappy, we know all about this. When City won the league in 18-19, we had a pivotal game against Leicester. Harry Maguire hauls down Sadio Mane, doesn't get sent off, and then Maguire gets their equaliser. So you get what I'm saying? And even Man City fans that I know have come and told me that if it wasn't for that game, because they just lost to Newcastle, they said we might not have won the league. So yeah, but these referees are just, I don't agree with them getting death threats and whatnot. There's no consistency. They don't even know the rules. Who knows?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what's crazy, those two decisions weren't even the worst decisions that Saturday. I don't know how, was it Mike Dean sent off Suchet? Like,
Yeah.
At least it's been overturned, but yeah, it's ridiculous.
But even going back to last week, the David Luiz situation, I mean, you guys said it should have been a booking. I don't even know if it should have been a penalty. He didn't touch him.
nah, it's a pen. He didn't. Nah, he touched him.
It's definitely a pen, but it's not a red card. It's definitely not a red card.
No, KO. He definitely touched him because they slowed it down and you use a magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those touches. It's one of those touches, yeah.
The game's gone. Game's gone. Game's gone.
They probably used a
Magnifier.
magnifier. I think it was on BT. It was, for me, it's definitely a red card. No, definitely a penalty, but it's not a red card.
Jan, now we're talking about penalty decisions. Jan, has there been any VAR shocking decisions against City this season? Because I know there's been one for us. I know there's for Arsenal. I'm not sure about Liverpool, but what's City?
There always is. Do you know what? To be honest, half of the things we see, they don't even check VAR. What they did do in that game against West Brom was, the thing is, right, the concept of VAR makes sense. Like, I liked it. When they first mentioned VAR, I was like, yeah, okay, they're going to have someone, when the referee makes a mistake or he doesn't see it or something like that. Because say, like, you run into the attack and then someone gets 2-footed tackled on the other side of the pitch and it's behind the ref's head, like, you can't see it. So I thought VAR is great because it'll show them on a screen. They can look at it, think, oh, yeah, that's definitely a red card, send them off, blah, blah, blah. Or, yeah, that's definitely onside. Or, yeah, it's a pen or whatever. Like goal line technology, it works. Do you know what I mean? So things like that, I thought, great. But when it's come in now, what you've got is you've got a bunch of referees who are almost using it wrong, or they're using it to dictate what they want. So there'll be a dodgy decision that they give. They'll go and look on VAR, but because they don't want to look stupid, they'd rather be wrong twice. Rather than saying, okay, I got that wrong, sorry, let me take back that red card. They don't want to look stupid, so they'll just double down on it and be like, oh, yeah, I was right. It's a red. And it's like, yeah, but it's not a red, though. You've just seen it. And I think it's almost getting used at the moment for match fixing. Like, some of them, that Southampton game, not the United one, the one before, like, it's not even one of them decisions that it's like, oh, it could have gone either way. You know, like, I think that penalty for Salah yesterday, it was soft, but it's one of them where it gets given. So I wouldn't say it's not a pen. I thought it was quite soft, but it still is given as a pen. But if that was in a game where the referee didn't want to give the pen, they wouldn't give it. So it might be given against Liverpool, but then it won't be given next week for, I don't know, Burnley against Everton or whatever it is. Yeah. And it's just, this is the thing, like I think it was Double Day said, the consistency isn't there. If they're saying, okay, this is a handball, and every time you see a handball like that, it's given as handball, I don't mind. But when it's 1 week, Liverpool do a handball and it's okay, and then we give a handball and it's ruled out, and then Man United do a handball and it's okay, and then Spurs and it's ruled out, it's like they need to just have the rules set in stone and this is this. But I prefer it back in the day where the refs made mistakes, because then at least you can just say they made a mistake. But now it's just like, it's ridiculous, and I think it's ruined the game because you can't really celebrate a goal anymore because you don't know whether VAR is going to turn around and say, oh, yeah, it's not a goal. But there was one that we had, West Brom, and the lineswoman, it was Sean Massey, she started waving a flag like this. She wasn't, she was waving it, right? So the West Brom, some of the players stopped, obviously, because all they can see is her waving this flag. And then, obviously, when they checked it, it was miles onside. So they had to give the goal. Obviously, Cancelo chipped it in. But it's like things like that. Like, obviously, if that goes against you, you're pissed off because you're thinking, we've stopped because she's waving the flag. Like, if you're not sure, because it wasn't obvious, if you're not sure, just keep your flag down and then maybe say to the ref, I don't know if that was off or something after, and get it checked. But, like, I don't know, it's just things like that, and this is what makes people say, oh, it's not fair, because obviously West Brom weren't winning that game, they weren't on top at that time or anything like that, but, you know, if that game ends 0-0, 1-0 to City, they could argue, that she is the reason why they didn't have that. And it's just, what's the point in having lines people if they're going to get overruled anyway?
Yeah,
it's just, I don't know. It's a mess. They need to use it how they use it in the World Cup, where they go over to the screen, they look, and they, and it's. And then if they make a wrong decision, they should have to. Someone was saying the other day, which I kind of agree with. They should have to go out like managers do and explain why they made the decision to make.
Or maybe mic them up like they do in the NFL. They mic them up and then have them explain the decision to the fans in the stadium. And the
I'm pretty sure they do that in Australia. Or I saw a video.
They did it in Australia. Yeah, they did it once.
Do it in cricket and rugby and American football. There's pure sports that do it.
Yeah.
So they could.
You hit the nail bang on the head, Cahill, because I was just about to say, even in obviously, Coach, I know watches NBA. I don't know if you lot do as well. Yeah. When they go to look at the monitor, they explain to the commentary team, and you can hear everything in there. So then it's not leaving us in the dark, because when VAR first started, we're sitting there. Some decisions have taken almost 5 minutes, and we don't know what the hell is going on. And then it will come up on the board, and you're like, "What's going on?" So it should be quick. Like yesterday, the John Stones goal that was offside, it was quick because Liverpool held the line and he was just offside. Nice and quick, no need for communication. But it's those long ones when you're left in the dark, like when we had Henderson goal disallowed against Everton. That took almost 5 minutes. That took almost 5 minutes.
For an offside that wasn't offside deep. Mane's hair was offside deep. But let's not talk about this. That game was the angriest I was more angry at that game than this season.
There's just so much dodgy decisions that are going on for just numerous different teams. Aston Villa are still in the Premier League because of dodginess last season.
Bro. They should have been relegated.
It's funny.
Hypothetically, of course.
That's insane.
It's funny because they said goal line technology wasn't working, but they could have used VAR too.
Thank you. He said he's watching it go off, so the proximity sensors weren't working on the goal line technology. So use VAR and then give the damn goal. Come on, man. It's just a joke. Like when you're having to get out a microscope, for these things. Sorry, not a microscope, a magnifying glass for these things. It's ridiculous. Some of these offsides that are being given are absolutely ridiculous.
And
hands.
It's like you say, like, obviously I don't want to concede a goal. I don't want my defence to concede a goal, but some of them when it's close, it's like, would you actually care if you conceded that? If it's like a shoelace or like a little knee or, at the end of the day, there's some sort of poor defending going on in that situation. So you're at fault for the goal, regardless of whether they were slightly on or off. If it's marginal, just like I prefer them to just make the mistake and say it's onside when it's not, because that way you can enjoy football. It's even worse in the stadium because you have no idea what's going on and they don't even tell you, and there's no video. So, like, I remember the worst one for us was obviously against Spurs in the Champions League. I had no clue. We celebrate, because with me, I don't celebrate goals straight away because of VAR. So I saw what happened, celebrated the goal, we're waiting, we don't hear anything, so we're like, we scored, right?
Yeah.
Next minute, VAR pops up on the screen about 3 minutes later. It was ages after, right? So everyone's like, what's VAR for? And then it's like, oh, no goal. But there was no video. They didn't communicate anything. So it's like we didn't know what happened until I got home and I watched it. I didn't know what's happened because they'll just say like offside, but you don't know. And it looked on to me at the time. And it's just things like that. It ruins the game, basically. I feel like if we get a few decisions a season go wrong against us or whatever. I just prefer that right now.
I feel like not showing it in the stadiums makes no sense, because if the decision goes against the home team, they're going to get rowdy anyway. Yeah. So it doesn't really matter. It just doesn't really matter. Just show the damn thing. I feel like we're going to go in circles with referees and VR. But let's get to Manchester United 3, Everton 3. Manchester United 2 goals up half time, and then Abdoulaye Doucouré, James Rodriguez, Scott McTominay then scores, and then on the 95th minute, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Big up, Ben.
Equalizer.
Coach, go. Coach, go. I'm just going to sit back now. I should get some.
Oh, you got your stress out, so that's my therapy, yeah?
I should get, no, because you're just straight to the point. You get me?
Do you know what it is here? I said this before to someone on this literally this weekend. I said, you know what? It's got to the point where when these things happen, I'm not even annoyed anymore. I'm just like, what the hell did you expect to get from this team? The way it is here, I was very confused at this moment. 94th minute, I'm glad that people have pulled a picture up of it and all that kind of stuff. 94th minute, we were up 3-2, and there was 4 minutes at the time. And De Gea was about to take the free kick that we got. And I'm looking, I'm like, hold on, where are my defenders? Why are they all forward? We're not chasing the game. We don't need to score a last minute winner. You man can chill, you know. I make someone from defensive midfield take this, play it back, take some corner, lob the ball forward, let Rashford run, and then stay there. You don't need to do anything crazy. These men went for another goal, and then they concede a stupid free kick. And if I mention defenders, yeah, where do I even begin? You know what? Let's go for El Capitan because
does he even warrant being actually called?
There is, yeah. What's so sad about this? Let me tell you what's so sad about this. Yeah? Forget about 3inMidfield for just 1 second. Any podcast I've been on with Jan, any show I've been on with Double D, including DD Footy Factory, any show I've been on with Daniel, including Footy Says, the one name that I have to always complain about for stupidity is Harry Maguire, the ferry, the sledgehammer head. Yeah, all the time. Bro, I'm always mentioning his name, and I'm just like, why won't you? Yes, give me a break. At this point, give me a break, man. Let me rest because he's run and he's played everyone on side. And you know what? Yeah, what's crazy about it? Digne hadn't even swung his foot yet. The guy's he's still running. So there's no need for you to make any movement whatsoever and play a whole line of people offside. And then people are complaining about De Gea, and I'm like, De Gea has never commanded a box in his whole time at Old Trafford. What did you think he was going to do there? He's never closed down a guy at his feet. He's never done it. The one time when he made a fantastic save against Hazard, he was going to him, then he stopped, and he's lucky Hazard took the early shot, because otherwise Hazard would have destroyed him. Like, these are not new things. So why are you getting mad? Why? Now, actually, I'm getting mad now. That's a bit hypocritical. But like, it's rinse and repeat with this team. It's rinse and repeat over and over. I keep going around in circles with the same thing. And secondly, yes, you take a 2-0 lead. There's no reason why you should drop in that at all. And then within 5 minutes, the goals we conceded were poor. Very simple. Because James Rodriguez, a player of his quality, should not have acres in the box by himself to place his shot where he wants to. That's number one. Calvert-Lewin should not be able to get a ball in a crowded box and have a one-on-one with the goalkeeper where he can finish with calm. That's unacceptable. It's just saying things over and over. Rashford again going forward, decision making. Lord have mercy on my soul. I love the man. He's doing wonderful things for the country. But if he doesn't sort his decision making on the pitch, I'm going to end this man. Yeah, it's very, very frustrating watching him, and it annoys me because the other guy who United fans love is not doing his job either. You guys know what I'm talking about. You know, the adulterer. So,
9 a.m.
9 a.m. So.
I like that. That's a good one.
Why am I never thought of that one? Do you know how much I slandered? Martial on the show, and them man don't want to join in with me. Coach is one of the few Man United fans, yeah, that will cuss this guy. Yeah.
Don't worry, bro. I got time for him, you know, because I get you've been there with me. I've given the man chances, and you talk about a player that goes on the left, middle, and like he says he wants to be a striker, he's not getting goals, this, that, and the other. But then earlier in this podcast, I was talking about a 20-year-old who's played in different positions and rips it up. Where is the excuse for the 25-year-old man?
He's French for Walker, you know that, right?
They're still talking about him like he's some youth, bruv. He's 24.
Exactly. Same thing with, and this is what I'm going to get to United fans for a bit, because they're the same thing with Lingard. They've done the same. They're doing the same with Martial, and they're doing the same thing with Axel Tuanzebe. Because if you talk about Tuanzebe, you'll talk about him. Bruv, he's 23/24. You're talking about.
Have you found that out recently? I thought he was a youth.
This exactly. You would think he's 19 years old. He's not a kid. He hasn't been able to establish himself in the first team. I said this before, and I say it time and time again. When you play for a big team, when you come through the ranks, if you are not going to make it by the age of 21, you have no place in that team. Lingard is an anomaly because he has so many loans and he only stayed there because Sax Ferguson told them that he's a late bloomer. If Sax Ferguson did not stand up for him, he wouldn't have been at that club that long. That's the only reason he's been there. And God bless him, he's done well for United anyway, so I'm not mad at that. But that's an anomaly out of how many? You know what I'm saying? So when you play for a top team, if you're not making it about 21, you're not it for me. And that's as simple as it gets. Tuanzebe is not it. And I don't want anyone to come and tell me, oh yeah, against PSG though, he had a wonderful game. And the team that's bottom of League 1. The team that's bottom of League 1 just put Mbappe in their pocket and they beat PSG recently. So I don't want to hear any of that either. Yeah? So at the end of the day, that's what it is. And look, I knew Jeremiah was going to come for me and say, leave my boy Martial alone. No, I will never leave him alone. Every week, about this man.
Jeremiah, I'm sorry. I remember we had a chat on our other show on Martial. I'm sorry. He might be your boy, but you just have to admit he needs to go.
It's time. Let Martial FC die. You mean claim as if you weren't even part of it in the first place. Just deny all sort of knowledge about that thing.
That's what Bear Man are doing. And my team is up, so I can't get onto them because Bear Man that were in Martial FC have all of a sudden made a transfer this January. But it is what it is.
And finally, it's kind of scary for me that we kind of started looking a bit more poor when Pogba, the one that slated the most, came off the pitch. Everton started to take a lot more control of the midfield. And yes, we did score a goal after against the runner play. But we are going to miss him a lot because the way he found form was very, very key to how we started to play.
You might miss him, but don't you think, like, when Pogba came off, I thought, okay, cool. I don't know why I thought this was very naive. I thought, cool. You have a midfielder who's very good on the ball, who can keep things ticking. He's good under pressure, very technical. Donny van der Beek.
Oh, yeah.
And then you bring on Fred. Like, I was seeing on Twitter, people said Fred got his Brazilian passport off Snapchat. And I have to agree with that because he does not play like a Brazilian. He does not play. That's what mine do. That's Twitter, so I can't take credit for that one.
That's a violation. That's a violation.
So, like, I don't want to blame anything on Oli because, in my opinion, what I saw on Saturday, what I saw was the players' fault. I thought you're 2-0 up, don't blow the game away.
This is where I do blame Oli a little bit because some of the players are not good enough. And trust me, I was thinking about Arsenal's rebuilding job. Man United are nowhere close. I'm telling you right now, Man United are nowhere close. I was hearing things about we've closed the gap between us and Liverpool. If Liverpool did not drop form the way they did, we wouldn't be talking about gap being closed between Man United and Liverpool. Facts. But anyway, the thing about United is this. As much as we need to fix in that team, bear in mind, this is not the first time that he's made these kind of subs and we still conceded. Southampton, 2-2. Don't forget that one. We were clear. We were comfortable. He brought on Fred and McTominay to defend, and they failed. McTominay is not a defensive midfielder. Fred is not a defensive midfielder. These guys at their and one in the youth team and one at their former club did not play a defensive midfield role. So for them to now come in and be put in that position and expected to do that job doesn't make any logical sense. It's like you standing for Fabinho and saying, "Yo, go right wing." It's not logical. It's not logical. It's like Pep going to Aguero and saying, "Yeah, you know what? You are a fantastic striker. You score a lot of goals, but can you just play right wing for us?" And I mean, when I say right wing, I'm talking about right wing back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever.
Put it past Pep there, to be honest.
Like, he probably make it right. But no, this is the point. This is the point. Like, he makes these weird decisions in times where you don't need it. And taking off, I think it was Rashford and Greenwood for Tuanzebe was illogical because Everton were causing us a little bit of problems, but they were also worried about the counter. As soon as we brought on a defensive player, Digne and the other one would just go in again. They were going for your neck one more time.
I think Ollie's thinking was to close off the game. The only issue is Tuanzebe is just not it.
Bro, close off what game? You haven't done it. You've done this substitution before. You haven't done it. So why do you think it's going to work again? You know what I'm saying? Why? It doesn't make sense. It's like there's no logic behind it. So for me personally, I don't want to just blame him because, trust me, I've got time for the players, but it's a collective. But United have a lot more work than they think they have to do. I don't want to hear, yeah, we got Sancho and the team will be balanced and then we can do a thing. Yeah. We signed one more defensive midfielder and the team is sorted. Oh yeah, I heard we need a defensive midfielder. We don't need to sort the centre backs. All right, cool. You play with your Ferry at the back, yeah. Enjoy your Thursday nights. I'm gonna be watching EastEnders.
Let me just check something though, because we've got a Man City fan in the house.
Yeah.
Yannicka, do you think United have any chance of stopping you from winning the title? I'm asking seriously.
It's funny, even though you're asking serious, it's funny.
Because there's some Man U fans that actually think that they could do it. So I want to know from a Man City fan what you actually feel could happen.
What? As City fans, a lot of people think they wouldn't put anything past Man United. Like, Man United have been a bit like lucky in the past with certain things in it. But I think City would have to fall off big time, because I think, like Kojo said the last stream that we did together, he said, yes, Man City will drop points, but Man United will drop more. And I agree with that. I think we will drop points. We're not going to go unbeaten for the rest of the season, but United will probably drop more points than we drop. So hopefully it's our title. I was more scared of Liverpool, to be honest, because I thought if Liverpool kick into gear, you know, we know that they can kind of go on a run, like City can go on a run. Man United would have to go on a big run like City and win like 10 games back to back to probably have a chance against us. And I don't know whether they can do that, because it seems to be at the moment Man United take two steps forward, or one step forward and two steps back. So they so they get somewhere and you think, oh my gosh, Man United have a chance. You know, like even coming into this week, we're away at Anfield. We never win at Anfield. I wasn't expecting to win at Anfield. So I'm thinking Man United are going to be closer. You know, we would have been on the same points, and then they dropped points to Everton. So I'm not saying it's impossible, because mathematically it is possible. I'm not going to rule them out straight away. And the same way I wouldn't say it's City's title. I think it's City's to lose because of the position we're in. But I just can't see Pep and Man City dropping more points than Man United and Ollie. I can't see that right now. So unless something changes, like we go and lose our next 3 games or something like that, then we can think about it. But I think as long as we're within 5 points of Man United, with sort of 5 games to go, I would expect City to do that. Just because we've won it under pressure. And this even though Man United have won it under pressure, the current team that they have now haven't. And when they were under pressure in the Champions League, we saw what happened there. Do you know what I mean? When they were under pressure in the semi-finals, we saw what happened there. So I'd be very surprised if they came to a title race against City and came out on top. It's not impossible, but I would be.
I will say this, Jan, before we leave United. Does everyone here watch Family Guy?
Yeah,
of course.
All right, cool. So you remember the episode when Peter went to the shop and he suddenly found Jesus? If we are gonna go on the kind of run to stop City from winning the title, we're only gonna social to walk into a shop one day and just go, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" and then just you can morph his body into Harry Maguire. To Maguire sit at home for the next 5 months, and then suddenly,
wow,
the bird is the word.
Just a stat to point out, Man United have scored the most goals in Premier League this season. 49.
How disgusting that is.
Because of that 9-0, you knew.
Hey, Jeremiah, he said we're winning the league. Everyone remember that, yeah?
Hey!
Yeah.
If you don't, you will be on. In fact, you're coming on the show beforehand anyway. But if you don't, you're coming here for that special only. It'll be me.
I'm always on his neck anyway.
Well, okay, in that case,
he was coming.
It'll be 3inMidfield.
The league, so now I'm on his neck. He knows about it.
Good. In that case, what we'll do? Me and Cahill on that special episode, we'll do the intros. Jan will be introduced. Jeremiah will be introduced, and then me and Cahill will suddenly disappear, and you can.
Your show now.
Just clarification. Would that be the same episode that when Tottenham win the league? That's when all the Tottenham fans come on.
Let's do it.
I'm just making sure.
I felt that.
That's a direction I guarantee. That's a direction. Man said a bazooka straight there.
I have so much to say about Spurs, but I won't say it now because it's Spurs fans thinking they're going to win the league. Do me a favor.
Bruv.
Coach, what did I tell you when what pod did you? I know it was a Footy Says pod, and then I was messaging in. I told you back in December, early December, not everyone, but I'd say about 80% of the Tottenham fans I knew were saying that these men were going to win the league.
Yeah. I remember.
And they were saying Man City do not have a chance. I said, "What are you talking about? Man City going to win the league."
Do you remember that episode? Do you remember that episode when they asked me who's going to win the league? And I said Tottenham only based on the fact that I refused to say City or Liverpool. That's only because of rivalry. I don't like them. So I don't want to say they're going to win the league. That was it. But Tottenham were never going to win this league anyway. So that's what it is.
Other games in the Premier League, Burnley won, Brighton Hove Albion won. Don't need to mention much. Always glad when Sean Dyche doesn't get 3 points. Newcastle 3. Southampton 2. That was a shock.
Newcastle were good, man. They were good.
Yeah, they finally performed.
This assistant that they've brought in for Bournemouth, I don't know if it's him or Bruce, but attack-wise, they look dangerous. And every time they go forward, Shelby's pinging passes. It's looking promising for them. But but Callum Wilson's injured now, so they're probably who's going to score for them now? You get what I'm saying? So.
But you know for a fact that it's not Bruce. Let's not even. You know it's not Bruce.
Fulham West Ham 0-0. We kind of mentioned the Thomas Souček red card already. So
ridiculous. He watched it like 15 times and
man started there in front of the camera like this.
He sat in front of the camera like that. He continued watching the replay. And then sent him off. I thought because he watched it many times, he was going to read it. It was completely accident. He's trying to move his own. He doesn't even throw his elbow. He's trying to move.
That's it. Let me just, let's go this way.
Sorry, I'm going to sound animated with that because Souček was my captain in FPL, so I was actually crying at the time. Like I'm off the top of bare league now. You get what I'm saying? I mean, ridiculous. Yeah.
Tottenham 2, West Bromwich Albion 0. Kind of expected. Harry Kane got 1 goal. Heung-min Son also got a second. One-man team, right?
Well, I think in my opinion, I think it's like I know Kojo likes Jose, but I think it's kind of slightly embarrassing that Jose is rushing back Harry Kane for West Brom because he did both of his ankles against Liverpool and he's rushing him back to play West Brom. I don't know, man. Like when I saw that, like it just made me think less of Jose Mourinho, and Harry Kane should one day just say no because he's a very good player, and if he keeps rushing back, he's gonna retire like Marco.
Daniel, this is what I was trying to say about Tottenham. It speaks volumes about how poor they are going forward when Harry Kane is not there in that team. It's appalling. It's appalling. You're right. It's appalling they have to rush him back against West Brom, but that's their reality. Because as good as Son is, we've all said it, he's not as consistent as you want him to be.
Yeah.
And Kane's the only one. There you go. Kane's the only one you can rely upon. He's literally the only one in that team that you can look and say, I know I can trust you for every game if possible when you're fit. Simple as that. The guy just came back from an ankle injury again, and he was their best player.
That header that Vinicius missed against Chelsea. Oh God! And you know how Jose is when people miss chances, man.
Yeah. Well, remember when we had Lukaku, and we dropped Lukaku for a game. Martial played up front. Martial dropped a stinker, and then he went to the press conference and said, "You guys always ask me why always Lukaku. Now you know it. He's this close. He's this close to doing the same thing with Harry Kane. I'm telling you right now, he's this close. He's this close."
Wolves 0, Leicester City 0. Not much in that game apart from the 2 chances. Fabio Silva missed it. Or goalkeeper saved it, but then again, that was a horrible. To be honest with you.
But the thingy one as well.
Jamie Vardy's had that, yeah.
Vardy said that. But even in the first half, Pedro Neto took a couple men out the game, got to the byline, cut it back, and then the Darwin tried always effort. He got blocked, but the way he hit it, he wouldn't have scored anyway. You get what I'm saying? It's like I don't know what's up. Again, them. It's like people don't know how to finish unless Raul Jimenez is on the pitch. Like because I don't know, man.
It's a football problem, man. It's a there's not like apart from Raul Jimenez, Harry Kane, how many players in the Prem can you say are actually strikers? Like the position, I'm a number 9. I'm an ST. My job is to get goals.
I guess Aguero's the only one left, but Aguero's
Aguero.
Everybody's worried about right wing, left wing, false 9, but nobody wants to be a number 9. That's why you see so much poor finishing, and it's poor, man.
Right. I've got a poor guy wearing my number 9, but it is what it is, isn't
it? Sheffield United 1, Chelsea 2. Mason Mount and Jorginho scored penalty. Antonio Rudiger on goal.
That was awful.
I told you about Rudiger, didn't I? I told you about that man. That's what I'm saying. I told you about that man.
It was a good shot.
It was, to be fair. It's an excellent finish.
all I'm saying is I hope people are getting off Mason Mount's back. Kojo knows my thoughts about Mason Mount. I think as a scapegoat, people were so unfair on Mason Mount. Like, if they actually watch and see what he brings to that Chelsea team, I don't think anyone would have been saying the things they say about him. So I'm just happy that he's kind of running under Tuchel and he's doing well.
It's a bit of history repeating itself, isn't it? Because Lampard had that same issue with Redknapp when Lampard was actually doing well at West Ham as well. But it was you're playing him because he's your nephew. Obviously, him and Mount are related, but everyone thought there's a favoritism thing going on there.
I don't think coaching was ever about how talented Mason Mount is, because Mason Mount is a player. Even I was watching him when, me and you, we go off and watch these random games. When he was at Vitesse Arnhem on loan, he did very well there as well. So it wasn't talent-wise. It was because you look at Chelsea are top-heavy, right? They're flipping Melinda Messenger out here, right? You look at the attacking talent that they have, yeah? You're sitting there and you're thinking, why is Mason Mount starting nearly every single game? When we've got Ziyech, when he was fit, Havertz, all these people there, and Mount's always being played centrally where he wants to be played. Well, mainly he's had 1 or 2 games where he's filled in. But Havertz, when he's in the team, you could clearly see Lampard didn't want him, because Havertz is an 8, a 10, or a false 9, and he's having to play wide left or right or as an inside forwards, and then people are getting onto him at 21 why he's not doing the job because he's not being used in his position. And he had Corona. I don't even know if his parents came over with the move, so they're thinking, how comes Mount is playing all the time? Don't get twisted, he's a good player. But I think it was just the case that whatever game Chelsea played, he seemed to be one of the first people on the team sheet. But yeah, he's doing well now. But Chelsea are doing the thing. That's what I'm saying. Again, Liverpool have to look at who's underneath them, because Chelsea are putting together some wins now as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Timo Werner, another stinker, but it is what it is with that guy right there. Leeds 2, Crystal Palace 0. I don't think anybody watched that game today. Obviously,
good goals.
That's why I've been putting it on mute, because I've had it on in the background.
Oh, fair enough.
Kale, I think this might interest you. Because of that Leeds win, Leeds have now gone 10th, which has pushed Arsenal down to 11. And Leeds have a game in hand on Arsenal. Just so
let me see. Hold on. Leeds have a game in hand. Villa have 2. Southampton have a game in hand as well.
Oh god. So,
also, if we could finish, we could end up 13th.
Arsenal, you see. Never
find. Double D is trust the process, in it. That's what I'm saying.
I'm trying to look. I get ripped. People tell me I'm biased against Man United, but especially Arsenal and Arsenal. I'm trying to come here. I'm trying to be balanced for y'all, and y'all.
This is not the day to be balanced.
But they said that they wanted. They said they wanted a young coach in it. They said they didn't want Ancelotti because he's not built a team, even though he has. If anyone watches Italian football, the Parma team he had in the late 90s. So they went for Arteta. So you've got to stick with it.
You know what I just realised? Remember when Arteta was going to Arsenal? Yeah, Pep was sitting there saying, "Oh, he's a great coach and he will do wonderful with Arsenal." And he's a liar. He knew. That's why I clocked it. When he does that kind of speech, yeah, he does that kind of. Jan knows what I'm talking about. I'm actually laughing at that. When he does that kind of speech and he smiles like that, you know he's lying. You know I've clocked it.
He did it yesterday when he was talking about Liverpool in the post-match. He was like, "Yeah, world class player." Because then you're a great team. But obviously, then it puts more emphasis on the fact you've just come to the ground and slapped them 4-1, didn't it?
It's the way he shakes his head as well. He's like, "Oh, unbelievable. He does that all the time. And he did the same thing, yeah, at Anfield when he was angry. He goes, great job to the referees. Wonderful. Fantastic.
I'm so happy. And they're like, what? So, they were like,
I'm so happy.
a bit annoying. And he was like, I'm so happy, believe me. Believe me, I'm so happy. And they were like, it's funny. He's funny though. I love that. I actually
I think on that note, we should wrap it up there. So, Yannicka, where can they find you?
Mainly on Sarcasm City TV podcast, so subscribe to them. Or find me on Twitter at @itchyandcity.
Daniel, where can they find you?
On Twitter at Papilo017. Also find me on FS on Cut. But with the way Liverpool going, I might have to take a social media break.
You will come to each FS on Cut. You will come there.
Double D, where can they find you?
Turn your phone off, Pappy. You'll be good after. They can find me at I'm so happy. No, I'm playing. It's on the screen at Double D, DUBULDEE, and of course I'm part of the D&D Football Factory. We air on a Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on Top FM 95.5 FM. If you're not in London, probably best to use the TuneIn app. But yeah, DD Footy Pod will be coming back soon, and hopefully me and Coach's European pod for Shoot the Defence will be coming back soon. So I'm everywhere apart from 24 hours after if Liverpool lose.
And Coach, where can they find us?
Right here on YouTube, of course, at 3inMidfield Podcast, and then on Twitter at 3inMidfield, of course, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcasts, 3inMidfield. Come check us out, so like, comment, subscribe, all of that.
This has been another episode of the 3inMidfield Podcast. Good night.
Should have the intro, the exit ready, but here we go.